Hey guys, it's Stephanie, A Loss for Words VSG. This is take 3. The first take was too long. The second take, the phone rang. So I'm going to try to get this done. This is a 15-month post-op update / advice, if I can. You think, well, when I tell you my story, you'll be like, well, she's not one giving advice. Actually, I'm probably a good one to give advice because I can tell you what not to do. Highest weight ever, 341 pounds. Started my journey in November 2014 at 319. 341. Did I say that? 341 pounds is my highest ever. Anyways, I had VSG. The day of surgery, I was 291 pounds. I got down to, in November of last year, I got down to 228, and I stopped. I'm sorry, my eye's itching. It's allergy season. I come to a screeching halt is what I did. I went on vacation. First week of November, my son and I went to Florida. And I had it in my mind that I was going to let myself eat what I wanted. Within reason, I could handle it. I was 5 months post-op. And I opened Pandora's box. And I let things in that I had no business letting in because they were triggers. They were they were part of the addiction, if you will. And I didn't stop. And I've slowly gained consistently. I'm not going to say how much I've gained, mostly because of embarrassment, pride. But I've gained enough to where, and it got kind of bad. It got to where my eating, I forgot I was a bariatric patient. I forgot that I'd had VSG. Not really forgot. I mentally forgot in the sense of I was eating like I used to eat. Maybe not the same amounts, but I was eating the same food for the most part. And it got out of hand, and kind of late spring. I'm sorry, my eyes are really itching thanks to the allergy season. It got out of hand, and this late spring, I got to where, and I'm going to preempt this by telling you, I've never had this problem in my entire life, but I got to where I was binging, eating so much that I hurt, and the only way I could escape the hurt was to go make myself throw up, and then shortly thereafter I would eat more. And when I started doing that, I realized I had a serious, serious problem. I was never that way before surgery. So why all of a sudden I would be that way after surgery? Part of it was the frustration of not being able to eat what I wanted mentally. I wanted to eat like Stephanie used to eat. And because physically I couldn't eat like Stephanie used to eat, I would eat as much as I could, throw it up, and then eat more. This was a real problem, and I did seek help. I don't feel like I got the help I needed. I talked to therapists, several, actually. I did go, I was going to the group meetings, and I kind of felt like they weren't doing anything for me. So, all this to say, I finally got back on track. I've been back on track a couple of weeks now. Now, I will say the reason I have not posted anything is because I've been very embarrassed. I've been very ashamed. My pride really, really hurt because I wanted to be that poster child VSG person like some of my friends out there that I'm so proud of. I've got some wonderful YouTube acquaintances that I've made over the last year and a half. People have been very supportive. And even though I've been absent the last few months, they were so supportive of me, and I've loved watching them in their journey and tried to be supportive of them. And I was happy, and I still am very, very happy for them. But I was so ashamed of my failure, and I couldn't blame it on anybody but me. So I couldn't face the camera. I couldn't, I mean, I could look at myself in the mirror, but I couldn't tell you all what was going on because I was too ashamed of it. So I've let this go on for 3 months. It's been 3 months since I've posted. I've gained more weight than I care to tell. And I'll tell you the turning point a couple of weeks ago. I got down on my knees and I started really, really praying. I'd been praying. I don't want to preach here. You believe what you believe, but I believe in Jesus Christ. And I believe that He is the answer to all of our needs. He is the answer to this world's needs. And I believe that He cares for each one of us. And I know that all He wants us to do is believe. And I went to Him in prayer, and I committed this to Him. And I did a lot of soul searching, and I basically gave it to Him and said, I can't do this. Can't do this on my own. It's been different since then. He has truly given me the strength that I needed. I've lost 7 pounds. It's been a couple weeks. And I'm back on my VSG eating plan. I had went off for several months and quit eating my proteins first. Basically, I was eating what I wanted to. Lesser amounts, but then, like I said, at times, not even lesser amounts. I would eat till I got sick. But I was eating donuts several times a week. I was eating my cookies. I was eating, oh my goodness, breads, rolls, just pretty much whatever I wanted. I have no excuse. I can't sit here and tell you why I was doing that, except that I am a food addict, a recovering food addict. How's that? And I was in a very dark place with food. Having the surgery was the best thing I ever did for myself. It was the best gift I ever did for myself. But it was one of the hardest things I've ever done, because I had not conquered that addiction. I had not fully addressed and dealt with that addiction prior to surgery. So when I became able to eat more, all those ugly demons started rearing their ugly heads. And once I opened Pandora's box, which for me happened to be down in Florida last year, once I opened that box, I couldn't control it anymore. So what I've done, I've actually compiled a little list, because I feel like I'm on my road back, and I feel like maybe something that I can say or do, or maybe I can help someone. I know that I'm not the only person who's had VSG and felt like they failed it. I know that I'm not the only person who's had VSG and gained a significant amount of weight back. I know that I'm not the only person who's had VSG and did not conquer their food demons prior to the surgery. So I've got a couple of lists here. One is things I'd wish I'd known, and the second one is if I could give advice, what would I give? On the things that I wish I'd known, I'm going to keep them really short. This is not an in total list. This is just some things that I came up with that I had been thinking about. One of them is I wish I'd known how important that it was to conquer or correct your food issues prior to surgery. I did not fully divulge how important food was to me. I think that if I had actually gotten a little bit more in depth with the psychotherapist, they probably would have halted and said, we need to fix this before we do surgery. I was afraid they would do that. I was desperate to have this surgery because I knew I couldn't lose weight any other way, and not sustainably. And so if I could go back, I think that I would try harder to get that corrected. to make sure I know how to deal with those issues appropriately before surgery, so that after surgery I can deal with a bariatric lifestyle the way it's meant to be dealt with, not a bariatric lifestyle and yet eating like the foodie before, if that makes sense. I think I would think a little bit harder about VSG versus gastric bypass. I've wondered for myself if I made the right decision. And I have to be honest, just because weight loss typically is a little bit more with gastric bypass, and also gastric bypass patients have dumping syndrome, most of them. Maybe not all of them, but sometimes I think that would have helped me curb that that trigger, that sweet tooth trigger. I don't know. It's too late to do it now, but I mean, I wouldn't go back and redo a revision or anything. But the third thing is I would have stocked up on biotin early. I lost copious amounts of hair and did not start taking biotin until probably 8 months post-op. My hair's just now starting to grow back. I wish that I would have taken biotin and a lot of biotin early on to kind of head it off at the pass. I mean, you're not going to stop yourself from losing hair probably, but I think if I'd given myself that little boost, it might have been better. I wish that I had never introduced my trigger foods back into my diet. I thought that I could handle having a donut once in a while or a cupcake. And let me tell you, when I first had my surgery, I really was doing really pretty well. I mean, I remember going to a baby or some kind of shower birthday party, I think it was, and I took a protein bar, and while everybody around me was eating cupcakes, I ate my protein bar, and I was okay with that. I knew I had a purpose in mind. And I remember we went to an ice cream place, and my family sat around and ate ice cream. It's a place where they make their own homemade ice cream. I took a sugar-free vanilla pudding cup, and I ate my vanilla pudding while they ate their ice cream. But that got harder. And what I did, when we went to Florida last year, we stopped at this place in Destin called the Donut Hole. It's a very good place for donuts. And we bought a bunch of donuts, and I ate the majority of them. And I told myself, I'm on vacation. I mean, this is going to be fine. I'm on vacation. I won't do this after this week. But what happened was it got that taste in my mouth. It got that trigger started. And it was bad, because once I had that, I wanted to go back. I wanted another donut. And then it kind of started being like, well, maybe once a week I'll have one donut. And somewhere along the line, it got to like every other day. And I'll be honest. I mean, I had donuts yesterday. I'm not completely over this, but it's way, way better. Way better. In fact, I think yesterday might have been the first donut I've had in the last couple of weeks. I don't remember how long it's been. But it's better. It's way better. And am I going to say that I'll never have a donut? No. But I'm going to try not to any more than I can. I mean, I'm going to try not to. Let's just put it that way. I'm just going to try not to. I'm better off if I don't. Will I? Probably. I hope that I don't as much as possible. Let's put it that way. It is my trigger. And I have a tendency to drop myself off the edge once I start. I had a friend that told me one time, she said, you're the type of person that when you fall down one step or two steps, you tend to go ahead and throw yourself down the rest of the flight of stairs. And she's absolutely right when it comes to dieting. She's absolutely right. I've always been that way. If I start a diet and I have, something I shouldn't have mentally, and this is terrible, you should not do this. Don't do what I do. But mentally, I'm like, well, I've already screwed up the day. I might as well go ahead and eat what I want for the rest of the day. I'll start again tomorrow. Don't do that. That is not good. If you get off your plan for one meal, get right back on it the next meal. I know this now. The other thing is, I wish that I would have stayed on my restrictions longer. 2 weeks post-op, my doctor, my surgeon said to me, well, you ready to eat? And me being a foodie said, yeah. And I ate. And I didn't quit. And I wish that I would have stayed on those restrictions, like the liquids longer and then the soft foods longer. I wish I would have stayed on all those longer. I think I would have lost more weight, and I think I would have given myself a really good running head start. The road that I took, I stopped and I saw the donuts along the way, and I stopped and went, oh, those look good, you know, and reach out and touch them. I wish that I would have stayed focused and stayed on course. So that gives me to my advice to someone who's just had VSG or someone who's getting ready to have VSG. Stay the course. Follow the guidelines. If you in any remote possibility have an issue with food addiction or cravings, don't go there. Don't. Listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth. Don't do it. It is a mistake, and I wish that I had not done that. Follow your guidelines. Eat at home when possible, or pack your own when possible. I love eating out at restaurants, but restaurants has been a huge downfall for me, because what happens is I get to the restaurant and I don't want what's on the Weight Watchers menu. I want whatever I want. And I tell myself over and over and over again, I'll eat good at home. I'm going to eat what I want here. And, you know, when I first had VSG and I first started being able to eat, I did great. I would go to Cheddar's and I'd order the salmon and the veggies. Or I'd go to the Mexican restaurant and I would eat no chips, a little bit of cheese, and then I'd have like the grilled tilapia and veggies. I mean, I did really good for a while. Then I started thinking, why can't I have a chicken tender? A fried chicken tender. Why can't I have French fries? Why can't I have a baked potato, loaded baked potato? You know, I started thinking about all these things. I would go to the restaurants and eat a sandwich and take the bread off. Well, then I started thinking, well, maybe I can eat one slice of the bread. It's easier for me, and it still is to this day, if I just don't. So do I still go? Oh, absolutely. But I go out to eat way less than I used to. Movement, every little bit helps. I have a very, very busy schedule, but I've even here in the last couple of weeks been going out, even if I can walk around the parking lot for 10 minutes at a time. If I do that 3 times a day, that's 30 minutes of walking. You don't have to walk 30 minutes consecutively to get 30 minutes of walking in. However, you can break it up. Every little bit helps. Move. I had quit moving. I was going to the gym 3 times a week. I was doing some serious cardio. Hadn't really got into strengthening, but I was really doing good, and then I just quit. So I'm trying to get back into the movement again. If you start gaining more than just a little, I mean, I'm not talking about a couple pounds. I'm talking about if you start gaining a significant amount of weight, stop as soon as you realize there is an issue. Don't bury your head in the sand like an ostrich. I think that's what I did. I think I knew I was gaining, but I think I had a little bit of that bury your head in the sand. These are short words. I am running out of time, but I wanted just to let you guys know I'm doing good. I am back on my road, guys. It didn't come on overnight. It's not going to come off overnight, but I remembered I'm a VSG patient. I'm a bariatric patient. I'm a bariatric gal, and I'm always going to be sleeved. I'm always going to be a bariatric patient. And my goal, my advice is get back on the program. My advice to myself, this is what I've been doing. I'm counting my macros. I'm going back to proteins first and then my veggies. Staying away from the breads, the carbs. If I do eat a bread, it's a very low carb bread. So that's my advice. Bye, guys. I'll keep updating. I'll keep you posted. Bye.